Welcome to part 2 of Holland's health journey from last November.
Yep. So on the previous episode, you can hear about my experience in Japan, being hospitalized, and that ordeal and recovering from that in Hawaii. And everybody was asking for a follow-up, and I said, I'll wait till Vegas. I get back home to Vegas to do the follow-up. And I thought I was better. And then there was like one night in December where I had excruciating pain. Like, did I pull a muscle? Like, this is not... It's that kind of pain where you kind of find a certain angle and you're just like, if I stay at this angle, I'm not going to feel it. But if I move the wrong way, it's just going to do that. And so I thought it was a muscular pain, but it didn't feel like that. It was very sharp. It kept me up all night. It was really bad. And that happened a few more times. And I feel like it was triggered with certain foods that I ate.
Yeah.
And, in the holidays, you have access to a lot of foods, but I still couldn't, my appetite wasn't even fully there.
Right.
Back in December. And so we're trying to figure out how it is. I should have, I want to wait till Vegas to kind of get a follow-up. And we couldn't, even based on our friends and family that are in the medical profession. They're like, that doesn't sound like gallbladder. That doesn't sound like liver. So we waited. So I got back to Las Vegas. I guess the thing that stops triggering it is just don't eat don't eat as much. So, which was good at the time because it's like, I avoid certain foods. One trigger I knew for sure was pizza.
Well, like a lot of like the fatty or really
Greasy,
oily, foods.
And that's normally related to, like your gallbladder and how it digests. We had to establish care really fast with a doctor. Normally, prior to this, we used to go to Utah to Prime Meridian to see doctors, naturopaths, and all those types of doctors. But the local doctor, I never really established care, so I had to do that. And we found a doctor, got some tests, got a CT scan. Oh, sorry, an ultrasound, which in hindsight should have been a CT scan because ultrasound doesn't really show much. And there was a little bit of a scare where it was like, I think we found a mass in your liver. Yeah. And they say, it could be angioma, but, you should double check it. Let's send you to the GI doctor. And so she couldn't figure out what the pain is. She didn't feel like it was gallbladder. The good thing about the ultrasound is like, if it was gallstones, it would have shown up. No gallstones. No. So go to the GI doctor, and there's so much to this story. Like in Vegas, like setting appointments, doctors don't communicate with each other. The radiologist and, all the blood tests, and they have a hard time talking to each other. I've never experienced this in Hawaii, where a radiologist calls me and asks me, what type of test do you need ordered? I was like, I'm not the doctor. Like, talk to the doctor. And, the doctor's office is asking me for the referral. I was like, well, the doctor sent it. My primary care sent it. Why can't you just talk to each other? Why are you working through the patient, right? That could be a whole other topic in itself, but that's the experience, and I'm not alone. Some other people have experienced this in Las Vegas for some reason. But anyways, I went to a GI doctor, and still worried about this mass. But the GI doctor says it doesn't sound like that kind of pain. Doesn't sound like it would come from your liver. That mass is probably angioma, but we can do some tests, and that's common, and it's not something to worry about. I think it's just ulcers. And for me, I got excited because I was like, ulcers.
We can take care of that.
Like that's small. That's minor. That's a lot less scarier. Like, geez, like that is treatable. And so schedule endoscopy. And then, and mind you, a lot of time passes. You can't just get the endoscopy the next week. It's like, oh, we have to schedule this in advance. Remember, I tried scheduling the MRI. The MRI is asking me, the radiologist is asking me, is this with contrast or without contrast? I don't know. Call the other doctor's office. Like, it's just a runaround. But wasn't able to schedule my MRI.
Now, mind you, this is like, what, March, May, April, between March and May
It's March.
of this year of 2025.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was March.
So let's put that into perspective.
So already I've been experiencing pain from December, January, February, March. Like even people at church were worried, like, "Oh my gosh, Holland, you don't look good."
Yeah, everybody was really concerned about you.
It could have been the loss of weight. Some people were like, "You look good,"
Others were like, you look really sick.
but it was like, "No, I can't." I lift things now.
Yes,
Now I'm
yes.
able to. But we said so March. So wasn't able to get my MRI. Got my endoscopy. Got my follow up.
Yeah.
And this is like the experience in Japan in the last episode where doctor is so confident they know what it is. Then they have to come to the room and explain to you like I was wrong. And so this doctor comes in and he says, looks at the results and he's like, you don't have ulcers. Like there's no signs of even like healed ulcers. Like you have no ulcers. I was like, geez, you sounded really confident. That's what gave me like a peace of mind. And
Well, it worked. It did
I guess
help for that time.
It reduced my stress, right? And so I asked, so the doctor instead, he goes, well, we what do you call it? Eosinophils. We have found some eosinophils. So there is some inflammation. So it's maybe you're allergic to foods that can cause you to stop breathing. And I was like, whoa, what is this? Like I came here for pain on my right side of my abdomen. You're telling me about this is in my mind. You're telling me like I have to do food allergies, stop eating everything, and I just had a question. I was like, does that have anything to do with the pain that I came here for? And he said, no. I said, is this a serious issue? Is it life-threatening? He said, no. And I said, well, if I go that route, what are you going to do? Another endoscopy, a lot more tests. And at that point, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I talked to other medical professionals and some of them just feel like, yeah, they just keep digging until they find something. That's what they do, which could be a good thing. But I was there for my pain. And doctor asked me, he's like, oh, you didn't get your MRI. And I explained to him, I said, your office did not send them the referral. And I tried coordinating it back and forth. And he said, I'm going to go order it. I was like, are you sure this time? And this time I followed up to make sure everything was done. Unfortunately, it was by then, that was already April. When I could schedule an MRI, they had an opening in June, but we were going to be in Hawaii. So I had to schedule the MRI in July or August? In July. So
Like
wasn't able to get a
July.
result by then.
Yeah.
I still having pain. It wasn't gallstones. So one of the theories, the prevalent theory is because it was only triggered from when I ate greasy foods. And, I've observed that. And it only happened at night.
Yes.
It only happens at night. I could be laying down during the day and still not happen. So how I digest. The theory is biliary dyskinesia. And that means it's just very sluggish. When your gallbladder is weak and it has to push, that's what's causing the pain. There could be some sludge. I forget what the test is called. HIDA test. Yep. So they could do that. costs, mind you, even though insurance covers, we still have to pay money.
Well, this, yeah.
And the question is, even if the HIDA test showed that it is biliary dyskinesia, what would be, is that treatable? And basically, the process is, if it is there, depending on it, you can wait and see. But if it's still an issue, they're just going to remove the gallbladder. And I'm still, I know a lot of people get their gallbladders removed, and I'm still like, I would do it if I needed to. But I've also seen my brother was experiencing pain one time, and they were like, let's remove your gallbladder. And that was like, it's like, it's causing that pain. And that was probably over 10 years ago. He still has his gallbladder today. That doctor, like, really tried scaring him. Like, he's like, it's your gallbladder. It wasn't his gallbladder.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, I was wait and see too. Even if I went to HIDA and they said it was that, I would have still tried to do things an alternative route.
Right.
And
I think that's all we were trying to do, was find out, like, to pinpoint what was happening so that we could, try something specific, naturally. But because there were no answers up until this point, other than they found something different,
yeah.
we were just like, just do everything, try anything.
So that's one. That's theory one. Theory two is muscle. Like, I don't know what muscles are on there.
Well,
musculoskeletal. Yeah. But then, I did lose some muscle mass.
You weren't moving.
Movement's very important. How I was sleeping. And when you're in pain, if you just stiffen up, that also causes some issues.
Yeah.
So it's just that cycle, right? So those were the two theories. Mind you, starting in January, when I came back to Las Vegas, I started my regimen, right? Making sure I was regular with my vitamins, minerals, and greens. We just had a new upgraded vitamins that we're taking. Lots of bioavailability, methylated B vitamins, clinical studies showing good absorption. I was just watching a video and it said, wow, it actually supports the liver.
Yes.
And taking other things, taking a milk thistle for the liver. Fortunately, now we have a more stronger one as well. Taking just everything, the omegas and
we just went with whatever we had. Yeah.
And, really being consistent on that.
Yeah.
Slowly progressing. And so after that, we go to Hawaii, and this was, go to May? Yeah.
Middle of May.
I don't know when it was, but I was like, I don't remember having pain.
I think it was, so we rented a beach house for a week.
But when was the last time I had pain prior to that?
I would say
Las Vegas.
It was still happening a little bit in Hawaii. It was till maybe the ending of May, beginning of June. It was like around then where you had your last episode, because once we went to the beach house, you were a little more active, and then it was like, oh, are you okay? Do you have pain? And you weren't saying ouch in your sleep.
Oh yeah, I used to do that.
Every time, and so I wouldn't get good sleep because I was all just worried about him, because every time he would move or he would just be up for hours, even though he was tired, because then he'd be like, ow, 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 ow. And sometimes he would be full on sleeping, and he would be just vocalizing his pain, in his sleep. And I would hear that and wake up and oh my gosh, is he okay? Because we don't know what was happening.
See, this is why we do these podcasts, because this point of view, I forget or I don't remember, right? And even just hearing oh, that's how it, from the outside, me, I'm I don't think it's a big deal. Oh,
no, it was a very big deal.
I don't think it was happening often. I thought it was beginning of May. So June, after we were at a beach house for a week, and then sometime in June, I was I don't have any pain.
Yeah, it was at the beach house that we realized it, because we did this with my family, and my mom was like, oh, Holland's walking normally again, and just little details that if you've seen him from December, like when we came back. And so because we were around family during the time that he was experiencing a lot of this pain, and, you know, they saw how he looked, how he walked, you know, everything, his energy levels. So that compared to, you know, fast forward now, we're living in a house together, you know, for a week, seeing each other every day for a week. And it's like, oh, it just like, oh yeah, you know, you're not vocalizing pain in your sleep. You're not complaining about it. You're walking fine.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
so,
And then I think also my appetite got,
yes, it got
and
way
I
better.
definitely could figure out because, you know, back in December, like it was sad because my favorite cut of meat is the ribeye, which has a lot of, I love the fat, you know, but I felt like that was triggering some things. There were some things I did eat that, you know, because I'm like, let me just get a taste, you know, and it didn't trigger. And so definitely somehow, you know, we attribute healing to the healer, right? Jesus Christ, our Lord and
Yes.
Savior. But there is a lot of steps that we continue to do. I think in the journey, what we learned is even if a doctor, because throughout that whole time, the doctor is trying to figure it out. That doesn't mean you just have to wait for them to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
You can take those steps, you know, whether it is getting rest, you know, your nutrition, watching your nutrition, taking supplements, right? Or, you know, physical therapy or different types of therapy.
Right.
Like, don't wait. You don't live in pain. If you know, I know that if you've gone through this, and many of you have,
Yeah.
you will be the type to just leave no stone unturned, right? And you know, and that teaches us everything. It's just a process. It's just how, you know, Western medicine has its role and its place, and just working with not just leaving our destiny in the hands of doctors.
Right.
Each and every one of us has a role to play in what we do and the choices we make. You know, we live with ourselves, you know, 24/7. The doctor is only there like 10 minutes.
Right.
They don't know everything, you know. They can only do so much. We have to do the heavy lifting. And so in the summer, I remember in December, my brother's like, you want to go out and go to the gym? I was like, no, I was too tired. And I actually did go to the gym a few times this summer, not as much as last year, but just kind of rebuilding that strength, which is also very important
Yeah.
as well. So gained some of that weight back, I think like 10 pounds of the 20 I've lost. And, you know, just kind of... it's kind of the journey, right?
Yeah.
And it's also going through that journey, it allows me to be like, oh, this is what some people go through. And a lot of people have it a lot worse. So I'm very blessed, right? This is not a major thing. It was scare,
Yeah.
but we were very, very blessed.
Yeah. I think it really did, I think, test our faith too. And I mean, for me too, it's like you know, for like a whole week and then some, the recovery process, it's like, okay, God, like you just have to sustain us because we can't do this on our own. I can't do this on my own. And lots of prayer. And, you know, I'm glad that, you know, for our church community who, you know, did walk alongside us and, you know, pray alongside us too. And, you know, ultimately glory goes to God for your healing because, you know, whether it was something that he gave us wisdom, brought somebody in our life, or, you know, he just I just think it just was miraculous that one day you woke up and it was like, everything was okay. Like you didn't have the pain anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just all God because, like, you know, and his wisdom, and we don't know what, like, it couldn't have been anything we did.
Yeah.
you know.
I like to talk about like finances. You know, there was a hiccup, and our church family came through. We weren't expecting anything, so this is what happened. Went to Japan. We had some medical bills. Cassie knows the exact number. I keep telling people it's like 4,000 or 5,000. What was the amount the medical bill?
It was like 3 something. It was like under 4,000.
Right under 4,000 for the for the week of a hospital stay. So I was admitted on Friday and discharged on Friday. So, you know, that sounds like a lot, but if you were to pay that cash in the US, that's not even a ambulance ride. So to have all the tests that they ran,
Yeah.
you know, that's just a little under, just a few $100s a day. It's like a hotel stay, basically,
Yeah.
you know, having the IV and nurse, like, and so, you know, they've taken our passport, a copy of our passport, admitting to a hospital. So you can't run away from those bills.
Right.
We paid for it. We paid for a credit card. Did we have enough savings to cover? We covered it with savings.
I believe we didn't touch any of that
Yeah.
savings. I think just God provide, like, you know, our math versus God's math is always, you know, I calculate and I calculate again, and somehow every time there's more.
Well, the thing is, though, that's still 4,000.
So
It's like, it still hurt.
Well,
like,
so it did hurt, but I guess the good part about it was, yes, it hurt, but we were able to pay off the credit card, so we weren't paying interest on any of that
yes,
stuff. So it was fully paid off.
Fully paid off. But okay, now I remember. But it I wouldn't say hurt, but it was very tight. It was very, very tight.
Yes.
So we had to re-look at our budget and everything. Yeah. I thought we touched our savings, but we still had our savings.
We still had our savings.
So we didn't have to touch our savings. Still had to pay for that. That 4,000 did not include your extra hotel stay.
So I would say about maybe $5,000.
Yeah. So
total with your 2 hospital visits and the extra hotels.
Yeah. So over for 4,000 just for medical, and then extra 1,000.
Well, maybe not $5,000.
Yeah, I think it was about five.
It was under 5.
Like close, like 5, because the reimbursement was 5,000. Yeah.
True.
Okay, so that the reimbursement was the craziest part. So we actually submitted for travel insurance. Fortunately, we had our own travel insurance for Japan. We didn't assume that the church provided travel insurance. They did provide travel insurance for our duration that we were in the Philippines. But once we left the Philippines, that was on our own. Yes. So fortunately, we usually get the travel insurance
when we're going international.
Because somebody told us one day, it's like for medical things, you should have. Yeah. You don't want to be in a foreign country with that.
Right.
So we got travel insurance.
Yes.
Unfortunately, when we called the travel insurance, we found out they were giving the runaround, basically. And that was a shock. We're like, oh no, did we get scammed? We just was like, you know what? We're just thankful that I'm okay. My health is okay. It's just money. You know, but it'd be nice to get a reimbursement of, you know, that money that was lost. Not even just a part of it, you know. It is tight, right?
Yeah. And
we can recover from that, but it was 5,000 that we weren't planning for,
right.
Or 5,000. And church family came through. During that time, they heard us, and we assured them, like, hey, it's okay.
Yeah. Like,
we don't need anything.
We didn't ask for anything.
This is just a situation. And then one day we were hosting, and they said, hey, we need to talk to you. We have something for you. And they gave us an envelope, and in that envelope was some money. And, you know, it didn't matter what the amount was. Yeah. Like, that really blew us away. we weren't expecting anything, and they thought about us.
Yeah.
And I don't think, we expect family does that, friends do that, but to have a church do that, that really,
Right.
church family, small group that does that, that was really huge, It helped. It helped a lot.
Yes.
They knew the amount. It wasn't the amount,
Yeah.
but we were very, very appreciative because the expenses weren't over, right?
Right.
Because we still had to pay a lot of the co-pays and everything for the insurance. Even though we have insurance, we still have to pay,
All
still
the major scans.
the major
and-
scans still cost a
yeah.
few $100s, every time we do that. That's why we're
Yes.
kind of also being very intentional, being good stewards of that money.
Yes.
And also giving back to the community, hosting and doing all of this. So that was our deal. We kind of gave it up to God. Everybody find out, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. Then my dad says, hey, I think Hawaiian changed their insurance carrier, which is where we purchased the travel insurance as. And so we end up, travel, was it Allianz or travel?
It was something else.
Travel something, right? Travelers insurance, travel.
I'm not too sure.
Anyways,
Not too
the
sure.
new one,
The new one.
Cassie contacts, and it was a totally different tone of conversation. Because last one was, they were like, the reason why it's not going through is because you didn't set a return date. Because we bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii from Japan. We bought from different carriers. We went from Philippines to one-way ticket from Philippines to Japan, and one-way ticket from Japan to Hawaii. And they're like, it was like open-ended. You didn't have any like things, so we couldn't cover you. I was like, oh, that sounds like a poor excuse for not covering us. And then they were saying
It was just a lot of things.
They were giving a runaround. Well, we found out that we probably was calling the wrong company because there was a change. Cassie contacts the current company, and what did they tell you?
Well, so we just we got a claim submitted, and they said, okay, they looked at our case and they said, okay, well, here's the next step. Here's the next step. And they kept breaking it down and say, okay, we need the receipts from this, and then because the claim was only under Holland's name, and they had asked about, they asked about me. And because I was like, oh, well, I was also traveling. And so I didn't have to do anything. They went ahead and they opened another claim for me, which I didn't have to do for my hotel, the extra things that I had to pay for.
Yeah.
So basically the hotel and other transportation.
But still, we were still skeptical because that was in January. When they first opened up, they're like, we're going to look into it. And we're like, sure you are.
Yeah.
Sure you are.
And then it's because you never know, it's 50-50 chance of it's either they're going to grant you yes or they're going to deny you, right? They're either going to say yes or no. And so in that space, it's like, okay, God, it's, it is what it is. We know that you're going to take care of us either way. And we're just going to submit it because there is that chance that we will get something back. And
you're submitting things and everything's in Japanese, right? And so they're just like, did they accept that? Or did you have to translate, or did they have to translate?
So they asked for everything, and then I did. I translated everything because also I had to know that I was submitting the right receipts. And so I categorized and I submitted everything. And because I didn't want... I have to be honest too. I'm not going to submit all these food bills. I got to make sure it's correct. And I'm sure that they also checked on their end too.
Yeah.
And so, so I submitted everything and they're like, okay, well, we'll look at it and get back to you. Well, this was months.
So that was January. We didn't hear back from them. And we're just people would follow up and we're like, well,
we don't know. we haven't heard back.
And we're also like, you know what? Whatever happens, we're okay now. We didn't tap into savings. We were a little tight. We had to rearrange everything, and then we started to recover. And right before we went to Hawaii, I think that was May. You get an
Yes.
email, and I think we were talking about like, hey Cassie, do you think you can follow up on that? And then Cassie looks at her emails like, hey, we got an email.
Because I was like, yeah, because at that point, it was that same day that Holland was like, oh, you should follow up with them just to make sure. And I don't like to push because I'm just like, this is like, it's a big company. Like, they're taking their time. They have to do their jobs.
I mean, it's May. That's 5 months.
I know. So, but I don't know. I just hate asking. But that same day, so I said, okay, like I'll follow up. So I went into the email to get the email. And there it was. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, what is, like, we got back, click,
Yeah.
like, you're approved.
Yep.
You know?
And so you get the first check of like 4,000, and then they said, hey, we there were some things that we couldn't, we have to double check. It wasn't really clear. Can you resubmit it? And then we got another check.
Yeah.
So it kind of basically covered every single expense. And so between that and the aid helped cover all our medical medical expenses. It is such a blessing. And that was, they talk about, I've heard a sermon about the growing your faith and waiting, because it's like, God, you just want things to be taken care of.
Right.
Like it should have been taken care in January. You shouldn't have the stress of calling and, giving the runaround. It should have been like, okay, here you go. Right.
Yeah.
But having that faith and really just being dependent, whether we're, when things are going bad, you really are dependent. But it's like, even when things seem to be going well, to that's what a relationship is. Not only when you need something,
Right.
to have a relationship, and just kind of share. And the reason why we share is we want to share this as a testimony to God's work and God's goodness. And so that finances is good. Fortunately for us too, being able to recover. We don't work a typical 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
We can work our schedule around. And there's been discussions of like, hey, should I get a job? Should you get a job? But,
Right.
Some people think, hey, you're just being, it's a luxury. But really, it's important for our health. It's important for our relationship. It's important for our ministry and service. And, God has provided. God is providing. So, we were able to take that time to rest. And that would probably be another episode about building passive or residual income, and so we're very fortunate for that as well.
Yeah.
So that was health and wellness, the health journey. We're still on it.
Yes.
But because of that, well, not because of that, that just kind of reminded us the importance of physical health. And really, I look at products a little bit differently now. So we'll talk more about that in future episodes.
Yep. Thanks for being with us again. See you later.
See you.